So today we are going to be looking at how we can calculate outliers. So first we'll look at what an outlier is, and then we'll look at the criteria for determining if we have an outlier. So an outlier, you might already know this, is a data value that lies outside the range of most other values in the set. So it's much smaller or larger than other data values. So if we look at this example here, we've got 25, 29, 3, 33, 27, 28, 85, and 26. And you can see that most of those numbers are in that 20, we've got one in the 30s range, but then we've got a 3 and an 85. And both of those values, 3 and 85, they don't really fit in with the other data values, and we would consider them to be outliers. On our box plots, we show outliers as a little dot or a little cross because sometimes we like to exclude them when we're using that data. To decide if a data point is mathematically considered an outlier, what we need to do is actually calculate what's called as upper and lower fences. And what these fences do is they act as boundaries. Sometimes your outliers will not be as extreme as having a 3 or an 85 in a data set like this, but there might still be values that are considered outliers. And so these fences act as boundaries. If a data value doesn't lie between the lower or the upper fence, then we consider it to be an outlier. So now we're going to go through an example where we're calculating our upper and lower fences. These formulas are going to help us to find those fences. So please write down what's in this little yellow box here. So we've got the following data set that's giving the weight in pounds of 10 people. And we're asked, does the data contain outliers? And if so, we're going to be stating them. If we look at the data here, you might think maybe 99 is an outlier and maybe 199 is. But let's go through this process and see whether mathematically they are considered outliers. So there's 3 steps. First, we're going to be ordering our data and calculating the IQR, so ordering it from minimum through to maximum. Then we're going to apply these formulas up here to determine our fences. Then we'll be checking our data and seeing whether any data points lie on the fence or beyond or below those fences, and make a conclusion as to if there is any outliers. Okay, so step 1, what I've gone through here is ordering my data from smallest to largest, and then locating my median. Locating my median, which is just here in this center, and then locating my Q3 and my Q1. And my interquartile range, or my middle 50% of data, is given by that Q3, which is 145, and then we take away that Q1, 121. Okay, back to my cursor. So if I was to work out this IQR works out to be 24. So I'm going to go through and now calculate my lower fence using this formula. So my Q1 from up here is 121, and this formula is telling me to then take away 1.5 times my IQR, so times what this up here was equal to. And what I get is 85. So that's my lower fence, my lower boundary point. To calculate my upper fence, I'm going to take the Q3 value, so 145, and then add to that 1.5 times the IQR. And what I get is 181. So let's have a look at our data. Is there any data on or below 85? Doesn't look like it. So even though that 99 might have appeared like it was an outlier, is actually not considered one mathematically. If we have a look at our upper fence, 181, we do have a data value here that is greater than that. So then I need to write a conclusion. As 199 is equal to or greater than our upper fence of 181, 199 is considered to be an outlier. And so that means if I was to draw a box plot for this data set, I still go through the process of my 5 number summary, but this point here is now my point that is the next biggest number after this outlier point, this outlier point of 199. So what we're doing today is we're using those mathematical calculations of the fence formulas to decide if outliers exist in data sets. So hopefully through the next consolidation task and the gap questions, you have been able to be successful in these things, to calculate that upper and lower fence, to identify outliers, and then to display those outliers on a box plot. So today's consolidation task is this link here to some Khan Academy activities. And then after that, you'll be required to work through GAT questions 9A and B. We're almost at the end of that GAT.